All right, guys, so here we got a new lifetime PR on deadlift, 135 for 125 reps. You got that right. So obviously very lightweight, extremely lightweight, but this is the most reps on deadlift I've ever done in a set, and probably close to the most just about anyone's ever done for that matter. 125 reps in one set with, albeit an extremely lightweight, just one plate, just 135 pounds. But it is a PR. I've never done a set of 100 before. I believe the most reps I've ever done in a set is around a little over 50 reps with 315. So today we're just like going with 135 and want to get at least 100 reps. Initially the goal was 100, but I just kind of kept going because first of all, I didn't want to go for 100 exactly and then lose track of counting, and maybe it was only 98 or so. So I want to do a little more than that just to ensure, we got 100 reps. So first of all, you guys might be wondering, what the fuck is the point of this? What's the purpose of doing over 100 reps on a deadlift set? It is, I'll admit, an extremely unconventional training style that I would not do more than, one or two or three times. This is not going to be the meat of my training. This is not going to be the main way I'm training, but I just want to do it for the hell of it. But I do believe there could be a few benefits to it, guys. And what I'm thinking is just the weight is so light that it allows you to purely work on technique and get a lot of repetitions in. Like, that's the main purpose of it, guys. The weight is so light that there's no resistance, that essentially you can just work on your technique and figure out what technique works for your leverages and stuff. And the thing is, like, during this entire set of 125 reps, my form did not break down at all. So I could basically just work on technique, just figure out, how to position my body in the most advantageous way that is going to help me move the weight from point A to point B as cleanly and bestly as possible, basically, guys. So yeah, 135 or 125 reps, not bad. It was harder than it looks. Obviously no one's impressed by 135 deadlift, no matter how many reps you get. But I did feel a fair amount of lactic acid throughout my body during the set. It is harder than it looks. It's a workout, guys. It's a workout. It's kind of like running a mile, so to speak. I would maybe compare it to about as hard as running a mile, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. The set lasted around 7 minutes long, so I would compare it kind of like to running a mile if you guys are trying to gauge on about how hard it is. It wasn't the hardest set I've ever done, but it was, when you're doing over 100 reps, there's a fair amount of lactic acid, and it does get pretty hard, pretty difficult. Now, another reason I was inspired to do this set today, guys, is, when I did my 585 for 4 set on the deadlift today, which was my top main set, I wanted between 3 to 5 reps. I got 4 reps. But yeah, when I did 585 for 4, I was, I'd say, less than satisfied with the form on that. The first 2 were relatively clean. The third one wasn't all that clean, and the fourth one definitely wasn't that clean. So I figured, just getting a lot of reps, a lot of practice doing reps with only a plate, just to figure out how I should be moving my body to move the deadlift motion as efficiently as possible from point A to point B. So that's why I wanted to get just a lot of practice with reps. Obviously extremely lightweight, but I just wanted to do something that would be over 100 reps. Now, I might do this more often every now and then, maybe once or twice a month. And I would think about, upping the weight to 155, then 165, 185, 205, 225, 245, etc. And just going for crazy high reps. Because I do think there is a slight benefit to it, guys. I wouldn't obviously make this the meat of your training. I'm not saying this should be the main way you train, going for 100 rep sets, but I do think there is some merit to it. I do think it can have some benefits. You're going to burn a little fat too, for what it's worth. You're going to burn a little fat. It's going to be a little cardio workout, a little fat loss workout, but the biggest reason I'm doing it is to get the reps in and really master my form, master my technique, and just get a lot of practice and repetition doing the deadlift. So, that's the main reason I'm doing it, guys. Just a lot of reps, a lot of practice, and sometimes you just got to put your ego aside and say, I don't need to be lifting 6 plates. I can do 1 plate for 125 reps and get some benefit from that, guys, because it doesn't always have to be really heavy in the 1 to 5 rep range, guys. That's what I'm trying to talk about, that I really think a lot of powerlifters are bought into this idea, and I would call it a myth, that powerlifting exists exclusively in the 1 to 5 rep range. And anything more than that is just cardio. Oh, you're doing cardio, bro. 10 reps, that's cardio. It serves no purpose. But like, I've got the best powerlifting gains training in the 10 to 20 rep range. So obviously something like 100 plus reps is not necessary. It's pretty excessive. It's a once in a blue moon kind of thing. Even 50 reps is, I'd say, probably way too much. Not too much that it serves no purpose, but too much to be doing very often. Like that one time I did 315 for like 52 or 54 reps or whatever. I think it was maybe 52. But anyway, guys, I really think the sweet spot in powerlifting gains, and this is going against a common belief, exists in the 10 to 20 rep range, or maybe the 8 to 15 rep range, somewhere around there, because, you know, a lot of powerlifters think powerlifting is just 1 to 5 reps, and I couldn't disagree more with that, because you're missing out on the hypertrophy benefits, the volume benefits, by training in like the 10 to 20 rep range, or at least the 8 to 15 rep range. You're going to build so much muscle. I mean, I think a lot of people agree that the most muscle is built in the 8 to 15 rep range, and I would agree with that. I'd argue maybe the 10 to 20 rep range, but at least the 8 to 15 rep range is the sweet spot for building muscle. So it's like, if you want to kill two birds with one stone, train for strength in the 8 to 15 rep range so that you're building muscle at the same time. Because as you might know, a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle, and you got to build that base of volume and hypertrophy to have big strength gains. You got to build the muscle up, and I feel like the sweet spot is like that 10 to 20 rep range, you know, that 8 to 15 rep range. That's why I did 425 for 18 today, guys. As my back down set. So that was the video for today, guys. I hope you liked this shirt. If you're reading this, is Deadlift Day based on the Drake album. If you're reading this, it's too late. Did a little parody of that, got a custom made shirt, and it says if you're reading this, it's Deadlift Day. And yeah, that's the video for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and you know, give some higher rep training a chance. It doesn't have to be 100 reps, doesn't have to be 50, but I try like the 10 to 30 rep range, just to, you know, switch up your training stimulus and give yourself a curveball and see how your body adapts and reacts. Have a great day, guys. God bless.